Hi everyone, my name is Will and welcome back to the channel. I create custom business automation solutions to help teams save time and work more efficiently. And in this video series, we're creating an applicant tracking system or ATS using Airtable. In my previous video, we created the tables, we added data to it, and I showed you how it works. But now that you have all that data in your system, it's time to make use of it for your team. That is why in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create powerful views that you can share across your whole entire team, like recruiters, HR, and even legal. This way they can see exactly what they need when they need it. We're going to be covering Kanban views, grid views, a calendar view that's going to help you with interviews, and even a view that we're not going to use at the moment, but we're going to use it later on when we implement automations with an HRIS platform. By the end of this video, you're going to have a clean shareable process that you can share across your team to stay organized and moving. Now, if you want to follow along, I've also created a template that you can grab at localsystems.com. So go ahead and check it out so you can open it as we go through and we create these views. So let's get started with our job posting table. This is where you're going to manage all your open roles as well as your filled roles. We're going to be creating two essential views here. One is going to be for those roles that need your attention, and the second one is going to be for you to celebrate those small wins in out those roles. The first one is going to be for open roles by department view, and we're going to filter it to only show the job postings that are open. This is going to help recruiters and hiring managers quickly see which roles are live and which department owns each posting. This way, you don't have to go digging around in your Outlook or your Teams. So let's create it. To create a view in Airtable, all you have to do is click Create New View. Let's go ahead and select the grid because this is going to be a grid view. Let's go ahead and give it a name. We're going to be naming this one Open Roles by Department. Once you give it a name, go ahead and create a new view. One thing I want to point out is that you have options of who can edit, but if you want to make this view personal or you want to lock it, you have to make sure that you pay for the team plan, which is $20 per seat a month. But if you're on the free version, you can only use the collaborative, and this means that all collaborators will be able to edit these views, all the configurations in it. So go ahead and click Create New View. Now we're going to get the same data that we have on our previous grid view. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is that we're going to have to group this data. So go ahead and click Group, and we're going to be grouping it by department. This way it will show us all the open positions by department. The next thing that we want to do is we want to filter this view, and we're going to be adding a condition. So we're going to say where the status is equal to open. This way is going to only give us the job postings that are still open. Now you have an option to sort it if you want. You can sort it by job department, so it'll put it alphabetical for you. Now let's say you only want to see certain fields. You can go ahead and hide the ones that you don't want. For example, if we want to hide description, job link, we can do that. Now you can change the color if you want, but you have to be upgraded to the Teams plan for this. And the last thing that we're going to do, we're going to be expanding the height to medium. And you can also share this view if you want. So all you have to do is click share and sync and create the link to view. Copy this link, email it, or send it on Teams or Slack, whatever you're using. And that's it for this view. So let's move on to the next one. The next view is still under our job posting table, and this one is going to show all the postings where the status is set to filled. Now this view is a great way to show progress to your leadership team and to prepare updates for your team or operation meetings. So let's go ahead and create this view. It's going to still be a grid view for this one as well, and we're going to give this one a name. Let's go ahead and name this one Filled Roles. Go ahead and create the view. Now there's only two things that we need to do for this view. The first one is going to be to filter. So go ahead and click filter, and we're going to be adding a condition. Let's go ahead and select the status and set it to filled. This way it's only going to show us the postings that have been filled. Next, we need to sort this by date. So go ahead and click sort, and we're going to select the field where it says date filled, and we're going to make sure that we select earliest to latest. Now this is going to filter it by the most recent posting that have been filled all the way to the oldest one. Now let's move on to the next table, which is going to be our candidates table. Now let's move on to our candidates table. This is where the real hiring workflow takes place. Now we're going to be creating a few views here to track progress and to prepare for onboarding. The first view that we're going to be creating is going to be for our candidate pipeline. For these two Kanban views, we're going to be using the status field for one and the stage for the other one. This is going to be really helpful to track each candidate's progress. The good thing about Kanban views is that they're visual and intuitive. So let's build it. Go ahead and click New, And let's go ahead and select Kanban view this time. Let's go ahead and give it a name. We're going to name this one candidate by status. Click create new view. Now it's going to bring us to the next step, and this is for us to choose a field to stack them by. So the first one, we're going to be choosing status. Go ahead and click done, and it's going to stack them by status. This is going to be all our statuses that we have, which is new, reviewing, interviewing, offer, hired, and rejected. Now the cool thing about Kanban views is that you can grab the cards and move in between lanes. Now the next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to customize these cards, and we're going to add more fields to our cards. So go ahead and click customize cards, and we're going to select phone, apply for, and resume. Now let's create our second view, which is also going to be the Kanban view, and this one is going to organize them by stage. So let's go ahead and give it a name. We're going to name this one candidate by stage. Click create new view, and let's choose stage for this one. Click done, and that's it. The same as the other one, we're going to customize this card, and let's add phone, apply for, and resume. And there you go. Now you have a pretty intuitive Kanban view that you can use to move candidates between stages, and as well for the status. One thing I want to point out too is that if you click on these cards, you can see all the full details of each candidate. You can see their email, phone, what positions they apply for, their resume. If they don't have one, you can also drop it within here. So all the attributes that belong to that candidate, you can see them within the cards. You can also leave comments to your peers in case you need to comment something here, which is pretty cool. All right, now that we have mapped our candidate pipeline, let's make sure that these candidates don't fall through the cracks. We're going to be creating a view that's going to filter our candidates that have been hired as hired. Now remember that in our candidates table, we created a field named HR sync and mark as hired. So we're going to be creating a view that is going to let us know if they've been hired, have they been synced to the HRIS platform or not. And this is going to be really helpful later on when we implement the HRIS automation, because there's many times where the person has been hired and it hasn't been pushed to the HRIS, so their information doesn't get put into the system, and that doesn't trigger the next step, which is for IT to order the equipment. So this view is going to be really helpful for those automation. Okay, so for this view, we're going to be using a list view. So go ahead and create new and select list. We're going to be naming onboarding checklist. Now you get a list of candidates, but we want to filter this to the only ones that have been hired. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to filter this. So go ahead and click filter, and we're going to be adding a condition. Now let's go ahead and select the first one that's going to be marked as hired, and we're going to make sure that this is checked. So we only want to see the candidates that have been hired and they have been checked. And for this one, we're going to be using a condition group. So we're going to say end, and we're going to add another condition within this condition group. Go ahead and click the plus sign, add condition, and we're going to check where the HRIS sync is not checked. So the next thing that we need to do is, you see it doesn't give you any field, so we need to customize those rows. So go ahead and click customize, and let's go ahead and add the hired field and the sync field. Now you have them. And now you see that this candidate has been hired but has not been synced to HRIS yet. And this is what I'm talking about later on. Is going to be really useful because we'll just be able to check this, and it's going to automatically send those details to the HRIS platform through automation and sync in those details for you. And that's it for our candidates table. We created a total of 3 views. Now let's move on to our interviews table. Okay, so now let's move on to our interviews table, and in here we're going to be creating a calendar view. This is going to help recruiters see what's scheduled day to day, week by week. This calendar view is going to help recruiters see what's scheduled on day to day or week by week. This is going to prevent your recruiters or those scheduling interviews from double booking and keep interviews balanced. That's going to help everyone plan ahead. Later on, we can use this view to trigger other automations like send emails to your Gmail, Outlook, Slack, or Teams. So let's build it. Go ahead and create new view and select calendar. So let's go ahead and give this calendar a view. Let's name it interview calendar. Click create new view, and we're going to leave it as date and time. So go ahead and click done. And what you can do here is you can move your interviews around. So let's say we want to move Olivia Rivera to the 9th. We can do that. Or you can move David Lopez to the 8th. You can move them around straight from this view, which is pretty cool. Now, let's say if you double click on this record, you can change the date within here and the time as well. Another thing that you can do is you can customize the labels. So let's say we want to just see the candidate, interview type, interviewer. You can do that. Or if if you want to include the date and time. So I'm going to leave it as name. And that's about all that you can do within this calendar view. So it's pretty intuitive, especially when we move on to integrations. This is going to save you a lot of headaches between people double booking or missing interview appointments. Now let's move on to our feedback table. Here we're going to be filtering the interviews to see the feedback that we're missing, such as the rating field and the final recommendation. This view is going to give your recruiters and HR a clear list to follow up with. So let's add that view. Go ahead and click new, and this is going to be a grid view. So go ahead and select grid and let's give it a name. We're going to be naming this view feedback. Now what we need to do here is we need to filter this to see what ratings are missing as well as final recommendations. So let's go ahead and click filter and let's add our first condition, which is going to be rating. Select rating and we're going to check here that it's empty. So now it's given our first one that we have an empty rating, but we have a final recommendation. So what we need to do is we need to add another condition that's going to say, or the final recommendation is empty as well. So now it's going to filter it to see if the rating is missing or if the final recommendation is missing. So for example, if I click rating to 5, it's going to go away. But if I go back to my grid and let's say I select 1, leave it as empty, and I go back to my feedback, it's going to appear because it has the rating, but it doesn't have the final recommendation. So that's what this view does, which is going to be really helpful. And later on, we can set up an automation that, let's say you have rating missing or final recommendation, you can set it up to send it so every so many days or every hours, however you want to set it up automatically without you having to do anything. It will send them reminders. All right, now let's move on to our final table, which is our offer letters. All right, so offer letters is the last step to our funnel. This is going to keep track of all the offers that have been sent and signed. This is going to be really useful for your HR team as well as your legal team to keep everything in a central location of all the offers. This is really good if you're at scale and you have multiple offers, so you don't have to dig through your table to find different ones. So let's go ahead and create this view. Go ahead and click create new, select grid, and let's give this view a name. We're going to be naming it offers sent and signed. Click create new view. Now, the first thing that we're going to need to do is we need to group these offers. So go ahead and click group, and we're going to be grouping them by offer status. Now you get all the offer status, but we only want the ones that have been sent or signed. So let's go ahead and click filter. Let's add a condition, and we're going to be selecting offer status. Now we need to add another condition to see the ones that have been signed. So go ahead and click add condition, and we're going to switch end to org, because you want to see the ones that have been sent or signed. So go ahead and select offer status and select signed. So now in this view, you're looking at the offers that have been sent and the ones that have been signed. This way you can see the ones that have been sent but not signed yet. So one more thing that we need to do is we need to sort this by the date signed. So let's go ahead and click sort and select date sent. And we're going to select earliest to latest. This way you're going to see all the offers that you've been sent from oldest to latest. So if you haven't received one from Emily Tran from the 10th, then you can follow up with that candidate. Okay, so now our views are set and we're one step closer to having an ATS that's fully streamlined. Now, if you want to build internal tools like this one and you need help designing the workflow, automations, or integrations, head over to locodesystems.com. We help teams streamline operations and scale faster with no-code, low-code tools, as well as fully custom solutions. Now, in the next video, we're going to take this a step further and we're going to be building interfaces. These are going to be clean dashboards in Airtable that your team can actually use. Now, if this video was helpful, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what you think. Once again, my name is Will. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.